We have a goal in mind today, and depending on what this video is titled, we'll tell if we accomplished the goal or not. And if you guys don't follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you guys will know I can't really put a garage here, but we got a carport, so if it's raining or snowing or it's too sunny, I can always go in there and work on the car. And last night was its maiden voyage because it was thunderstorming and it didn't blow away, so I think I anchored it good enough, at least for now. But we even have a light in here, so if it's dark, I can work on here, and it's my little shop now. What is going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. So today is the day that hopefully we get the Civic finally started. The only part we were really missing to get the car started was the starter, which we finally got. And I didn't get through car ID because I'm still waiting for theirs because I don't know what happened with them. So instead we got one from AutoZone, and it was pretty expensive, but it should do the trick. Now we do still have a few plugs that are missing on my harness. There's like 4 that's on the left side near the Dizzy, but those ones are all for radiator stuff, and we should still be able to start it without the rad. And then the other 3, I don't have a clue. So that stuff could be holding us back today, but maybe not. All the starter really is 2 bolts and a couple of plugs that go into it. Don't really know what I was expecting, but I just have to tighten those bolts down, and the starter's pretty much in. And then we already have 2 spots in our wiring harness where the positive and the negatives go. So the starter's pretty much done already. So there are still a few things that I need to consider. One, I still need to do an oil change because I'm not sure if there's actually oil in this block or not. So we have to do an oil change. I gotta put trans fluid inside of it because it's dry as a bone in there. I'm not sure if my battery is actually charged or not, and I think I need gas. So we still have a little bit to do. But what I am gonna do is I am gonna hook up the battery. I still have to put one more thing with the alternator. I'm gonna hook up the battery, see if there is any battery left on it, and I'm gonna hook up my ECU and see what we can do, if I can actually prime the fuel pump or not. I think there might be a little bit of gas in there, but probably not, so we're gonna go check it out. But first, I have something to show you. I was gonna show you guys the biggest spider I've ever seen in my life in my own house, and it's gone, so I can't go inside anymore. So our ECU we are using is OBD1, and the car is OBD2, so we are using a jumper harness that we got from eBay. And you can get these really cheap, so we're gonna wire this up real quick, do the alternator, and see if we can get power. And just like that, we're all wired up. Everything fits pretty good. And to my understanding is this one's gonna be blank unless your car is an automatic, because that's the automatic module, but we're all plugged in. And for the people, I know you guys are gonna ask, we are using a P28 ECU. It's a chipped ECU, and I believe that this ECU is tuned for a B20, but I could be wrong. If it's not, I can always take out the ECU because it's not very hard to take it out and get it chipped. So I just need to find a person to chip it, and I can get whatever tune I want easily. That's the first sound I've heard of this car in such a long time. So now that I know that the battery actually works, we have a few more things we gotta do. And number one, what we gotta do is I do have to switch out my my fuel rail lines because I have it hooked up on the wrong side to where everything goes. So we gotta switch that over. I gotta figure out how to work the actual, I don't even know what it's called right now, I can't think. So we gotta do some fuel rail things before we try starting it. But the battery works. I just gotta figure out the fuel rail thing, and then I think and then bleed the clutch and do that stuff, and I think we're good to start. To be completely honest, I forget where I left off because I started running around and getting stuff. So I lost track of time, and that was like 2 hours ago. So we went to Honda, got some transmission fluid. I went to AutoZone, got a new fuel filter or oil filter, some oil so we can do an oil change on it. I still need to swap around the fuel rail situation, and I gotta fill up the trans and an oil change, and then I believe we're good to go. First fatal flaw of this little carport garage thing. It's hot as hell in here. So right now I'm just trying to fight the fuel line to get my regulator back on properly. And it looks like when I took the original engine out, I had to cut the line at some point, and I don't know why. I'm a lot more experienced now than I was. So I have another line that I think will work. I think it is another fuel line from the D16 that I ripped off at some point. So it should work. I have to get the original one out first, but it's a lot of just tedious digging right now. Pretty much the line is down in this line right here, and just hard to get out. Everyone's heard the saying, when there's a will, there's a way, and well, I'm gonna be trying something here. I'm not sure if it's even gonna work. My fuel pressure regulator is only this long because I cut it like 2 inches short. So what I'm gonna try to do is take the lines off of the old D16 manifold and see if I can get that one to work. Something in life that I've learned is sometimes you make a stupid idea and it doesn't work. But sometimes you have a stupid idea that's just stupid enough to work. So I took off the hard line that also had some soft lines off of the D16 intake manifold, and this is the perfect length. It has hoses on both sides to connect it right up too. So I just have to get the regulator tip to get into there, and we're all good to go. And I will show you what I've been doing, but this tip is very big and this hole is very small. No puns or sexual things intended there, but you know how it is. So I'll show you what I've been doing, but I just got to make sure I get this to fit first. But this is the perfect length because the other thing that I cut wasn't. I do gotta tell you though, I had this tent and I'm sweating and I'm so hot right now, but it started raining a second ago and I was completely dry and I could still work on the car. Before, we couldn't do that. I literally have just the tip in. Tip is too big for this little hole, so you have to stretch it a lot. It ain't pretty, but it's watertight and it's gonna work. That's definitely gonna go on my list of things that I need to get before the car is actually driving. But today we were trying to get the car started, so we're getting close to that. So I'm gonna quickly do the oil change while I charge my camera because I've been doing a lot of time-lapsey things today. So when I come back, the oil change will be finished, the trans fluid will be in, and I'm gonna start the process of doing the clutch. And then I'm pretty sure that's all we need to do when we're there. So yesterday I did end up calling it quits. I got the oil change done, and then I was trying to figure out how to do the trans fluid. My cat. I tried doing the trans fluid, but then I have to take the speed sensor off to actually fill it. So I just kind of gave up last night because I was tired. But I was kind of thinking about my entire fuel system, and I actually went out and bought some new fuel hoses. So we're gonna cut this to size, and I've got plenty of this to make it work, so I don't feel so sketched out about it anymore. For anybody trying to get these fittings in, all I did was heat the hose up just a little bit with a heat gun, and it actually just slid right in. And as it cools, it's going to constrict against it again, so we're all good there. New fuel line is now in. So to fill the trans, there's a few different ways you can actually do it, and the one that to my understanding is the easiest way, because otherwise you take off all your motor mounts, is to do it through the speed sensor hole, which I think is only 2 10mm, and it's kind of an easier spot, but at the same time it's not an easy spot, just like everything else with this car so far with this trans. So I don't think it'll be too much of an issue, hopefully. You can see she's right down there. Transmission fluid smells a lot worse than like most fluids in cars. So right now, pretty much the last thing I need to do is bleed my clutch, which is something I definitely shouldn't be really doing alone. But the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna keep pumping it and then put something on there to compress it so I can actually do it as if there was another person there. So I should be able to do it by myself, no problem. And then we're ready to try to crank it and see what happens. But as I said before, I don't even know if I have gas, so I'm about to go run out and get some gas first. So as I'm bleeding the clutch, I'm looking for leaks and I'm testing everything. And now it seems like we have a bigger problem on our hands. So the clutch is being bled just fine, but I found a leak in my axle, it looks like. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a little drip right there. Now this could be a few things. One, my axle seal might be bad, so I tried hammering it in as best I could, and just seeing if I can fix it now, and then I leveled the car and it's dripping a lot slower now. I might have accidentally overfilled it a little bit, which might be a part of it. I'm not too sure. I gotta do some more research real quick. But of course, there's always something else that goes wrong. So I did use a rubber mallet and just beat the end of the axle into place just to make sure the seal is good, and it seems to have stopped. I leveled the car a little bit more because I read that you should do that and I didn't really do that. So I think we might be okay now. It stopped leaking. I'm not seeing any more drip drops. It didn't lose too much fluid. So I think I did overfill just a little bit, so that might have been part of it. So hopefully we're fine. So we're gonna keep bleeding the clutch, and I'm nervous now. Clutch is bled, oil has been changed, axle seems to be sealed now. Hook up the battery and let's see if she starts. Nothing. Oh man. I didn't have any of the distributor hooked up. So let's try again. So I did hear the fuel pump kick on momentarily, but my starter's not making any noise, which is of concern because it should be making noise. So I double checked and redid my grounds. I tried again and it made like a weird click noise that sounded like it could have been the starter, maybe doing like one little rotation, but besides that there was nothing. So I really don't know what to do right now. I'm gonna try to look at some more cables and see maybe if it's a fueling thing, because I'm not sure if my fuel pump's even turning on because I can't really hear it. At first it sounded like it was on, but then I don't think it actually was. So everything seems to turn on except for my radio. Oh wait, my radio does turn on, never mind. So everything seems to have power in here, but then you crank it, absolutely nothing. But what I did notice is my check engine light does this. Well, my check engine light does this. So I'm not sure why it does that. My excitement is slowly dwindling down. So I do have a fuel pressure gauge on my new fuel rail that I have, and I'm not getting any pressure, which is telling me my fuel pump isn't doing what it needs to be doing, which means I've got electrical issues somewhere. And this being my first swap, I don't know where it is. So I'm checking all my wiring, and I know my wiring might not be 100%, but the stuff that I do have connected should be fine to make the starter start, if that makes any sense. So pretty much if I have my battery connected to it, my starter should start, and it's not. So what I'm gonna go do is I'm gonna go to AutoZone and test my battery, because that could honestly be it. The battery's been sitting out of the car for a few months, so that could definitely be a problem. So pretty much, I'm going back now. We got the battery back. It's been charging for a little bit over an hour, and he told me that the timer still had like 100 minutes on it, but hopefully with more juice in it, it will be able to determine if it's good enough or not. So I'm really hoping that it works, obviously. If it doesn't work, I do have a few things that I think it might actually be. Number one, it could be something to do with my ignition. And two, it actually could be something to do with my clutch switch, because in USDM cars, you have to put your clutch in to stop the car as a safety thing. And that might be disconnected or something happened to it. So I do have a few things I can still look at, but fingers crossed that this works. Also, I've been driving my BRZ all day and the tire light hasn't been on today. Don't know why that is. So I got it connected to a charger right now, and I did just try to do it, and I heard like a humming noise, which I'm assuming could have possibly been the starter. So maybe the battery being dead did have a lot to do with it. I took it to AutoZone and the guy said the battery is pretty low. So I'm gonna charge it for a little bit more time, and then we're gonna try again and see if there's any differences. I don't know if you guys can hear that sound. We got it to crank! Pretty much, my grounds were using the wrong bolts and they weren't grounded right. I grounded from the back of my valve cover to right here. It cranks, but the thing is, this car is bone dry and has no gas, so I need to get gas and hopefully it can run. But right now, I am so hyped that we just got that. I didn't think we would get that far. I was ready to quit. We got gas in the car, so pretty much I'm not gonna be able to like leave the car when it starts to make sure everything's okay. I'm gonna start it, hopefully, and just wait for a minute and then check over everything, because I don't have a shift linkage, so I'm not sure what gear I'm in or if I'm in neutral or not. So I have to keep my foot on the clutch the whole time. So I'm gonna set my camera up here. I'm gonna have my phone camera recording. I'm freaking nervous right now. Boys, let's see if we did it. I'm freaking nervous. Come on. So I was trying to see if I was getting fuel, and I found out that, you know, that's Titan. So my fuel rail ended up actually breaking on me. We weren't getting any fuel because the gauge wasn't reading anything, so it might be a fuel pump thing, but we're getting it to crank now, which is a huge accomplishment. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it started today still, which is unfortunate, but we got it to crank, and all that troubleshooting is huge. So thanks to JZ Chris 92, because he said check your grounds, check them over, put them on this one, put them on this one. So huge shout out to JZ Chris 92. Check out his YouTube channel, check out his Instagram. But I don't think we're gonna get started today. We do have gas in the car now, which is nice. So hopefully soon we can get this thing started. So getting it to crank is one big thing. Now it's troubleshooting other small things, but we're getting there. So I am gonna leave you guys off here. This is a lot happier than the last one I recorded, because I was just gonna completely give up here. But I'm gonna leave you guys off here. So we're getting crank. We're missing fuel, and I'm not sure if it's from the fuel pump or what, but we're not getting fuel. So we'll start solving that. But I'm gonna leave you guys off here. So if you guys will please do me a few things. Comment, like, subscribe, keep doing all the fun stuff, keep doing you, stay motivated, guys. You can see we're so close to getting it started now. We're getting crank. I'm staying motivated. Peace out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.